Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here ready to taste a tea. And tasting, of course, is a full range of experiences. It's not just looking for some kind of initial pop of flavor. There's aftertaste or the finish of a tea. There's the texture of a tea. There's the complex unfolding of various flavors. As a tea changes in temperature, as it changes across steeps. Those things that you want to be looking for and cultivating an appreciation of. I've scooped out enough tea to cover the bottom inch to inch and a half diameter of my gaiwan. It's about a 3-ounce gaiwan. Water's been brought to an early boil, not a full rolling boil. I want a little bit of water just to rest above the rim of the lid when I put it on. Need a splash more. That looks good. Water looks good. Let me set this kettle out of the way and introduce this tea. This is from PeonyTea, and this is their Imperial Iron Goddess Heavy (heavy fire). So this is a style of this tea is a GuanYinWang, which is kind of a subcategory of Tea Guanyin or Iron Goddess of Mercy. So you can get this tea, what I believe, the particular product page, I could not find the volume. I believe it's 50 grams for 40 Singapore dollars. It is made from the Tea Guanyin cultivar. It is produced in the traditional origin of Tea Guanyins, which is Anxi in Fujian province in China. This is a spring 2013 harvest. What else? Now, a note about that heavy fire. What does that mean? A lot of the Tea Guanyins that you're seeing available on the market today are the greener, lightly oxidized, lightly fired, or lightly finished. There's a heat process with producing nearly all teas, that takes out that final element of humidity so that it becomes a stable product. That different levels of drying or heating can take place to do that. This is the more traditional, where that greener, more modern type of Tea Guanyin may have started back in around the 1980s. That process got really developed and took off. Before that, you had the more traditional, the firing that took place, and so this reflects a more traditional style. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this tea, starting off here with the dry leaf. Aromas are more, because there's more of a fire, a heat note there. There's more of a toasty, especially more of a roasted type of notes. You get honey roasted peanut. You get a bit of kind of a sweet wood type of smell. It's almost similar to some sandalwood, maybe a bit of English laurel, some kind of lightly fragrant shrub type of. If that wood were to dried, especially if that were coming from a dried wood from that English laurel, woody stems, branches, kind of thing. Let me scoop out a little bit of this and have a look here. You're seeing what look to be individual leaves, and that's just kind of from the appearance of the size of these tightly rolled, tightly balled leaves here. You're getting a darker color, of course. You're getting more of a bistre gray, brown, dark gray, almost bordering on black. You get bits here and there that move a little bit more towards a kind of a lighter brown milk chocolate type of color, but for the most part, deeper, rich colors like that, like the bistre. Okay, don't see a lot of stem there, so again, that's another indication these are individual leaves there. Let me then move on and pour this and be able to talk about the liquor and the wet leaf. Now, Peony teas, because they're deep into the Chinese tradition, they recommend gaiwans like this. They recommend Yixing pots, so that if you're going to use this and say more richly, deeply appreciate these teas, it can be useful to know how to hold a GuanYin, how to use a GuanYin. You know, middle finger and thumb hold the bowl. Index finger holds the lid here. And it controls, give you some stability so that you have an opening for pouring here, some space between the lid and the bowl, and you also have some space in the back between the lid and the bowl to allow the air to flow through. Okay. Now I'm going to give these leaves a shake and a smell first. First off, you get, with more of the concentrated heat, you get more of the lightly charred wood. You get still some honey roasted peanut type of smells. As this cools, it's starting to get a bit sweeter, so you get more of the sweet, fragrant woods. You get like that sandalwood, maybe a bit of acacia wood in there too. So these are good, sweet, fragrant wood. English laurel, maybe. Sweet, rich, again, warm, sweet, woody type of aromas there. Let me pull out a few of these leaves now. A leaf here, again, these are darker leaves. And what you see here is a leaf that is a bit thick, quite intact, some raggedness along the edges, some occasional blotches here and there of a little bit of oxidation that can take place on some of these leaves. Deeper oxidation. You get leaf portions like this one, which looks to be 2/3 of a leaf. Again, some ragged edges there too. Let's see what else. You'll get some more. You'll get relatively tender leaf portions or leaves. This one, for example, is a bit lighter in color. I chose it because it's more towards an olive drab, where the others are a bit darker, towards more on the browner side of olive drab. So that's that. And again, you'll get, because of the way it got processed, you can have some ragged leaf portions there. So that's that. I'm going to set that aside now and get to the liquor here. Liquor is a bit golden brown type color. It's darker. It's a deeper nutty brown, say, than your average Belgian ale. This is a bit deeper than that. Give it a pour and a smell here. Still the honey roast peanut. I get a fragrant, sweet, fragrant wood coming off there. Give it a sip here. Still the honey roasted peanut, the dominant, the toasty, roasty elements are what stand out texture-wise. This tea gives, first it can have kind of a lightly acidic splash to it. It gets a brief kind of puckery aspect. It draws the sides of your cheeks in just a little bit. It makes the sides of your tongue kind of tense up and draw in a little bit as well. There's actually a sourness that some people look for, and is considered a better tea if it has a bit of that kind of sour bite that I'm talking about here. So, and then in the finish, that moves, what's left on the tongue, I should say, it's a bit more of a silken type of texture. It's a light smoothness there, which goes with a bit of the honey, again, the honey roasted, the roasted nut kind of sweetness, warmness there. Maybe even in the area of a nice sweetly roasted chestnut. That's can be element there. The aftertaste, again, I might even put that aftertaste to aftertaste. The aftertaste of a roasted chestnut is reflected in the aftertaste here. As this tea cools, you get more of the sweet honey roast element there. It starts to build up, especially in the aftertaste. The texture gets a bit smoother, a bit thicker, a bit more viscous. The sourness drops down a little bit, gets more in balance. So this is a tea. Off camera, I should say that I was able to steep this. I steeped this a couple times, 3 to 4 times, I don't recall. Fairly consistent, nice, stable, and long, consistently lasting. They were, the duration stayed pretty extended, so that's a positive note. This is a tea that you'd want to be able to kind of explore as it cools in the cup, with the different temperatures and textures that can go on there. So looking at this, some nice quality components. Comparing this with other GuanYinWang's, a lot of them out there are, like I said, that greener, lighter color, which you want to be careful of, because some of those can sit on the stomach and get this sour, grumbly tummy type of effect to them, where your more roasted, more traditionally fired teas like this often give a more stable, more calming element to this tea. So looking at this one, good nuances there, the elements of the texture, the sourness, all those kind of fold well together, blend. So this one, I would give this one a 90. Nice, good quality components. Again, let the temperature, experiment with the temperature in the cup, so that you can sip it while it's hot, while it's warm, and while it's cool, to get all those experiences. Come back to Walker Tea Review to find out about the experiences of these teas, other teas that are out there.